What's going on YouTube? This is my very first time vlogging in my WRX, and so I'm excited and a little bit nervous because I don't know how the quality and the sound is going to be, because Subaru is very well known for having a lackluster interior, and so I do apologize in advance if you guys hear a lot of rattle and road noise and stuff like that. So today I want to talk to you guys about buyer's remorse. If you guys aren't familiar with what buyer's remorse is, it is essentially the regret after you purchase your brand new vehicle. And I want to talk about the Subaru WRX and my experience and whether I have buyer's remorse or not. And so before I start, I want to give you guys a little backstory again. When I got out of college and I accepted the job with the Boy Scouts, it was my very first full-time salaried job, and I was excited. I was like, cool, I'm finally, you know, stepping up and moving up the ranks, and I'm finally going to get me a full-time job, and I'm finally going to be able to get myself a brand new car. And of course I was eyeing the Subaru WRX, the new 2015 at the time, and the price tag was kind of high, and so I couldn't get it. And so what I instead did was I opted for my Impreza. I saw a pre-certified 2012 Subaru Impreza hatchback 2.0i, which looked very sporty and looked really nice, and it was a hatchback, so it was very, very practical all around. And I thought the MPG was pretty good too, that was posted on, I think it was like 2636. So I decided to go and make the purchase for my 2012 Subaru Impreza hatchback 2.0i, and after the first month, the novelty went away, and I started feeling very, very unhappy about the car because the car was very lacking in horsepower, and overall I just didn't really feel satisfied. I felt like it was a compromise. I felt like it was like the arranged marriage, right? Like buying a brand new car, going under contract is essentially like a marriage. But however, in this case, you know, the novelty was gone, the bubbly feeling, the butterflies, all of that was finally gone, and I kind of really saw the car for its true colors, and it didn't really fit what I wanted, and I felt like I was living a lie. I felt like I was with someone who I wasn't really passionate or enthusiastic about. And so you know, I looked up how I was going to get myself out of the situation, and unfortunately at the time, because I was working for the Boy Scouts, I drove quite frequently. I drove well over 150 miles each and every day from Sacramento to El Dorado County and Amador County, and I was just frustrated because essentially I was upside down on my loan. So driving the car off the lot, I lost so much money, and unfortunately I put only $1,000 down on my $17,000 out the door vehicle, and so ultimately I was stuck. I was stuck in a bind because the car, I owed more on the car than the car was worth, and so I was just stuck with it, and I was unhappy, and I dreamt and dreamt and dreamt about the WRX. I'm like, I wanted the WRX more than I did this car, and because of my circumstances, because of me being in this position with the Boy Scouts, I didn't find it feasible to get myself a brand new WRX, because the WRX, I would have killed it driving 150 miles every day, and the mileage wouldn't have been as good as my Impreza. However, in the back of my mind, I still wanted the car, and every time I saw a WRX on the road, you know, I would lust over it, I would drool over it, and you know, I would have this sinking feeling knowing that this isn't the car for me. Like, I love this car, but I want that car. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pay this car off, and then I'm gonna save a little bit of money, and I'm gonna get this car. And so I just kept talking about it and planning, and then, you know, life happened. You know, I had a position change. Things just didn't work out with the Boy Scouts, and so I gained a lot of weight from stress. My relationship took a beating, and things didn't work out. So, you know, fortunately I was able to pay off the car, and with the help of my girlfriend to help me pay that car off. So that's how I was able to get out of it. And so my girlfriend did tell me, hey, you should hold on to the car. I mean, the car is paid off and you're not going to get your money back, so it's better to just hold it off. But I still felt unhappy because this wasn't the car that I really wanted. Now I own it. This is my car now, the Impreza. However, like I said, it wasn't the car for me. And so I had buyer's remorse to the max with that car. It's a good car, like I said, but it's not the car that I really wanted. And so I ended up selling it off. So before we moved, I ended up selling it to a really good family, and I took a big loss. I could have upsold it a little bit more because the car is in fairly good condition. However, I just wanted to get rid of it, and I just didn't want to think about the car anymore. And so after I sold it off, after a few months, you know, again, I kept eyeing the WRX and eyeing it and eyeing it. And so I kept calling the dealerships. I was trying to see if I could get a brand new Subaru WRX off the lot for a really good price. And so I was like, okay, if I could get a WRX for $26,000 out the door, which is extremely hard to do, I would be sitting good. So I wanted to down pay the minimal amount. Like, I wanted to down pay only like $5,000. I wanted to use the money that I got from my selling my Impreza to down pay for a WRX. But of course, this WRX is so popular now, and it was very hard to haggle, and I didn't really know how to haggle. I didn't know what to do. So after 8 months of figuring things out, I bit the bullet and I accepted the 28K offer. And so what I did was I down paid the $6,500, and now here I am sitting in my WRX. And so even though I don't drive this car as much, I'm now only at 1,794 miles, and I only drive, you know, some weeknights and the weekends. But every time I get into this car, I'm very excited. I'm very happy, and there is no buyer's remorse. I don't know when the novelty will end, but I can assure you that this is a very good and solid car. It just feels really nice knowing that after such a long time of waiting, after 3 long years of consistently waiting, I'm finally behind it. And every time I come home and I open up the garage and I see my WRX, I would sit there and grin and smile. Or in the mornings before I leave to work, and when I close the garage, I would turn around and do like a quadruple take, just to stare at my car for a few seconds more. And even when I go out and I take my girlfriend places, and I would park very far away from other people, and I would like to glance back like 3-4 times, or when we're out eating, I would get a window spot just so I could have like bird's eye view of my car to make sure that I know exactly who's parked next to me, and hopefully like no one will ding my car, because this is my baby. This is the car that I've been waiting such a long time to finally get. And you know, my girlfriend has jokingly joked with me too, saying that, hey, you know, do you love this car more than you love me? And you know, you spend more time in the garage with your car than you do with me. And unfortunately that is partially true, just because I've waited such a long time to get this car, and I'm very grateful to be here, because I remember there was a time when I didn't have this car and I drooled over it. And I do know that I've met so many people who was in the same boat as me, who was also drooling over this car and wanted it. So that's essentially why I started my YouTube channel, and why I wanted to share that experience with everyone, and just share this excitement, happiness, because everyone is at a different financial level. However, we all share hobbies, passions, dreams, goals, and this was one of my goals. This is my partner for life, and that is why I want to share this ownership experience with you. And so the novelty isn't gone. Like, every time I get into this car, I grin and I smile, and I'm happy knowing that this is the car that I've been waiting such a long time for. And this is a car that is very practical. It has a lot of utility to it, and it is, you know, like I said before, the jack of all trades. This is a vehicle that is backed up heavily by a large supportive community, a large fan base. And so in the worst case scenario, if I ever want to sell this car back, I have a large group of enthusiasts who can potentially buy this car, and I'll be able to get most of my money back. But I don't ever intend to sell this car off. I do want to mod this car, but like I said, I don't have the financial means to do so yet, and I want to ride the warranty out as best I can. I want to be very smart about how I mod my car, and you know, what I have planned and in store for this vehicle. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, is that the novelty experience, the novelty feeling the excitement is still there. It's, you know, even though it's been 2 full months after I've purchased my car, I think this is an adequate time to talk about it, because usually after your first month of owning a vehicle, that's when the buyer's remorse really sets in, and you kind of think about it and say, did I make the right choice or not? And even right now, 2 months after, I've made the right choice. I was very prepared and well planned for it. I saved and budgeted, and I was able to haggle a really good deal that fit my budget. I could have definitely gotten a better deal, but you know, this is the car that I've been wanting, and you know, I have no regrets about it. It's so nice and so reassuring every time I get into this car that this is my car. And so I just want to share that with you guys and give you guys some of, you know, my perspective as an owner. I hope it doesn't come off too biased, because I feel like it is. But again, this WRX is a very solid car. In the worst case scenario that it doesn't fit your need, and like, let's say you did buy this car and you were as excited as I was when you were looking into it, and then you don't feel happy about the car, luckily you have a really solid fan base, and this car holds its value fairly well, and you could sell it back and you can get most of your money back. That's the best thing about it. You could definitely opt out of this car if it doesn't fit your need and your want. So yeah, that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I hope you guys like this video, and of course, if you do, give this video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget, if you guys like the way this video setup is, if you guys want to see me vlogging my car more, you comment down below and let me know. So thank you very much, guys, and don't forget to subscribe.